So Anthony Joshua has responded to some of the skepticism surrounding his offer to spar Tyson Fury ahead of Fury's upcoming rematch with Deontay Wilder. Some people are saying it's just a stunt. It's not serious. It will never happen. It's been rubbished by Frank Warren. It's been rubbished by several fighters and pundits out there. You've had Johnny Nelson saying it's a bad idea for Fury to let AJ into his camp. All kinds of different stuff going on. Even Eddie Hearn doesn't sound very keen about AJ going over there and sparring Fury. But this is what AJ had to say about it. He said, "It's all for experience at the end of the day. What I learned from myself and who I am, if I make a mistake once, I don't make it again. With Fury sparring him for the first time, maybe for my benefit, I might go in there and just batter him around the ring, or he might batter me around the ring. If that is the case, I know I can take my notes and go back when I'm ready to fight him and correct all my wrongs. Everyone's like, you wouldn't do it, but no one knows how my brain works. Everyone talks from their own experiences, and I can only talk from my own. So when I say I'll go and spar Fury, it's because I have a plan in my mind that no one will really understand. I'll beat him." I always felt when AJ came out and said what he said, that he was serious. Because if you follow AJ's thought processes throughout his career, it fits in with his thought processes. If you pay attention to the things he says and the decisions he makes, AJ is a very logical kind of character. So I think he was absolutely dead serious about sparring Tyson Fury, 100% serious. He has rededicated himself to the craft of boxing. AJ's always been dedicated in terms of keeping himself in shape. But in terms of the craft of boxing, he started surrounding himself with more boxing people. He's got more boxing, coaches into the camp. He's spending a lot more time with his sparring partners. He's probably taking advice and listening to people more. He switched up his tactics for the Andy Ruiz rematch, tried to implement new things. He took advice on from Klitschko, not just in terms of tactics, but even diet. Anthony Joshua is a sponge and he's trying to absorb as much as he can. And that is what Anthony Joshua was like when he first started boxing. People forget that AJ went from having no amateur fights to being one of the top amateurs in the world in 3 years or something, in a very short space of time. So he has the ability to absorb things very, very quickly. That's why he's managed to achieve so much in such a short space. In 23 fights, Anthony Joshua has got a far better resume than Wilder or Fury had in their first 23 fights. It's not even remotely close. AJ is a guy who's been moved very, very fast. He wasn't a guy that was wrapped in cotton wool like Deontay Wilder. And they didn't put him in there against anybody with a pulse until he was deep into, his 30, into the 30s in the number of fights he's had. No, that wasn't AJ. With AJ, they threw him in the deep end before he's even had 20 fights. The same thing in the amateurs. They threw him in the deep end. And when you've got a character like that who's willing to be thrown in the deep end, he wants to open himself up to all of the information and all of the help that he can possibly get to improve. That's how AJ is. That's how a successful guy who's been moved very fast, who's relatively inexperienced, that's how they have to be. So when you take that reality on board, you understand, okay, when AJ says he wants to spar Fury, he's probably serious. He wants to go in there and see where he's at against Fury. Because obviously they sparred many years ago when AJ was an amateur and Fury was British champion as a pro. And according to Fury, AJ got the better of it. Well, AJ wants to know where he's at now. Would he still get the better of it against Fury now? AJ is wondering where he's at. Is he doing it to help Fury against Wilder? Not really. I don't think so. Yeah, I think he's doing it more for himself to see where he's at against Fury. Fury said he accepts the offer. What do Fury's people say? We know Frank Warren's not happy about it. He doesn't think it's a good idea. But Tyson Fury maybe can overrule what Frank Warren thinks or wants. What about Javon Sugar Hill, Fury's trainer? Will he want Anthony Joshua coming into camp, sparring him? Maybe Javon Sugar Hill won't think that's a good idea. So, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, these guys actually fight in a professional ring. That's one area where I agree with Frank Warren. The sparring, look, from AJ's development point of view, I can understand why he wants to spar Fury. But from a fan point of view, I just want to see them fight in a pro ring, whether they spar or not. Yeah? But from AJ's development point of view, I understand what he's doing. I understand why he's doing it. And I actually think it's a good idea for AJ to go spar Fury now. Yeah, I think it's a good idea for him. Some people have talked about, again, Fury trying to get in AJ's head and all this kind of stuff. Listen, AJ wouldn't be where he is right now if he was letting people get in his head. This guy has tremendous resilience, mental resilience, to be able to put up with the amount of pressure that he's been under since he turned pro. None of the other top heavyweights have even come remotely close to experiencing, much less dealing with the pressure that Anthony Joshua's dealt with in his career. Not even remotely close. Only he knows what that pressure feels like in the heavyweight division, and he's been able to deal with it. I saw, who's that guy? The Irish fighter, Conlon, talking about AJ's performance against Ruiz. Some people were complaining that it was a boring fight. It was a boring fight. It was a boring performance. But Conlon said, when you consider the fact that this guy was going straight back in the ring with somebody who dropped him 4 times and stopped him and was under an incredible amount of pressure, what AJ did was actually tremendous. Because it's not just a physical fight, it's the mental fight. It's dealing with the pressure, it's dealing with the demons. This is a guy who had you on the canvas 4 times. It's not a guy who you lost to in a tight decision. This is a guy who hurt you, who's humiliated you in front of millions of people around the world in a massive fight. All right, so the kind of pressure in the rematch is unimaginable to most people and even most fighters. The fact that he managed to hold it together under all that pressure shows you that this guy has far more mental strength than a lot of people realize. Because there's nobody else in the heavyweight division who's been put under this kind of pressure. So, yeah, I think people are looking at AJ's actions not really understanding the kind of character AJ is. And by actions, I'm talking about offering to spar Fury. They're thinking about it from, the perspective of the average top heavyweight. No. AJ's different in his mentality than the other heavyweights out there. The evidence is, look at how he's been moved in his first 23 fights. He's different. Wilder wasn't doing this in his first 23 fights. Yeah, so understand it's a different kind of guy, and a different kind of guy is going to use different, he's going to have a different kind of mindset and think differently. So he's just trying to absorb all the information he can and get all the learning in that he can as quickly as possible. Hence why he wants to spar Fury. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.